7:30 a.m., 1039 FM, Jocks, Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. Another beautiful Saturday morning here in North Alabama. Kicking off the show, we are post the first couple of rounds of the NFL draft. I think we have a couple more rounds going on later today. But it has been largely what was expected through the first round. Some trades that happened, some switch-ups. We saw a surprising Jeremiah Love go really early in the draft.
A little earlier than I thought.
Shook a lot of things up, I think, in a lot of ways. It seems like the Rams always had eyes on Ty Simpson other than Sean McVay. Sean McVay seems like he's been nonchalantly vocal that he did not want Ty Simpson. He wanted to go in a direction that helped Matthew Stafford out right now to let them get to the next step toward the Super Bowl. It was an exciting day, though. Caleb Downs falling to the Cowboys, which
we talked about it. We said it would never happen, and it happened.
But yeah, with the as far as the Sean McVay thing, let's talk about that. I think
I got you, boys.
little tech issues. We got to figure it out.
Boys.
Solved it. With Sean McVay, here's my honest thoughts about it. I've watched all the different angles, the interviews. Pat McAfee talked about it. McVay got caught kind of on a hot mic. The phone call between him and Ty. Here's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
McVay and Stafford have created this relationship with each other that is more than just coach and quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
From my understandings, they vacationed together over the summer. Like they are dudes together. They are friends. And so, yes, McVay knows the game is in my home stadium this year, and I've got a great chance to try to win a Super Bowl this year, another Super Bowl for McVay. And yes, Ty was the best quarterback for them in the future. Would the head coach of the football team rather have had like the 13th best, wide receiver, or I should say 13th best, the best wide receiver available, or the best tight end available? They got a good tight end team there, or some sort of piece that he thought would help them win it this year. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the head office has to come in and go, look, yeah, this year is awesome. We are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. But I, as the owner of the team, am not looking at this year. I'm looking at the next 10. And I think this sets us up best for the next 10. And so to go along with that, I think McVay having to have that conversation, the story is that Stafford was told, hey, we're going to take him with the first pick.
Well, and from my understanding, they had another pick later in the first round, and they had traded that first star corner. Okay,
right.
So in their regards, is they've already set up a lot in terms of their first round picks. They had their value already. They went and got a star corner in the league, helped them out with McDuffie. So going in the direction of, hey, let's take this Patrick Mahomes kind of route. Go ahead and take him. What's the sense of waiting until Stafford slows down and then we don't have a quarterback? And then you're in this little weird period where you're kind of in limbo because you don't know where you're going to go. You might have the pieces, but you don't have that finishing piece at the most important position on the field at quarterback. So why not go ahead and select Ty? Let him learn behind Matthew Stafford, one of the best in the game, to set up for that next 10, 15 years for your longevity just gets spread out in time. And so I thought it was a good pick by the Rams. I know a lot of people have been, criticizing it because of especially the situation they're in, of how McVay reacted and things like that. It was disappointing to see. I know the grades on that pick, that was one of the worst graded picks of the first round because of the nature and position that the Rams are in right now, and they're trying to make that last ditch effort to get to the Super Bowl.
I'll ask you a trivia question.
Okay.
Two parts. How many teams are in the NFL?
32.
How many starting quarterbacks we're in the 2025-26 NFL season. How many different people started at quarterback?
It's going to be, the number's going to be higher than 32.
I'll give it around
NFL season though, right?
During the NFL season, last season,
40.
I would say more like 50.
it was 61.
Okay.
Yeah. So
There
I
were
mean,
60. That means almost every team, if you average it out, every team started 2 quarterbacks during the season.
Yeah.
You do have an older Stafford. They do have the pieces to win a Super Bowl. You've got to this league, this game has turned into give me a great quarterback, a great left tackle, a Mike linebacker, and a safety, and I can win a Super Bowl. You lose one of those, and you're really in trouble. The quarterback is the only position on a football field that's worth more than 3 points on the spread.
Do you think there's anything to be said? And I think us Alabama fans got to suck up on this one. Is that maybe it's just Ty Simpson wasn't the pick they should have picked at the second quarterback in the draft.
You're going back to your the playoff and you're the guy you rode till the lights went out.
You know, I'm a diehard Ty Simpson fan. I think he's a game manager. I think he's like Tom Brady-ish like. Okay, I think he's that player. But when you take his overall quarterback experience as a starting quarterback in the SEC and college football, he had like 13 games, total.
15.
And so you look at that resume, so to say, and he really started off hot, right? That's maybe you could argue that's a weaker schedule up front. Okay. He was, he threw his like 5 total picks the entire year. Okay. As a starting quarterback in the SEC. Yeah. Okay. But then he goes in and he has a primetime performance in the SEC championship and absolutely gets dogged by Georgia. Okay. But you can also say he dogged Georgia once last year too.
Yep.
And then they go into the Rose Bowl game, against Indiana, eventual national championships, and they got dogged as well. Now, granted, he got hurt, broke a rib, okay? But I think there might be a little bit of that from McVay is like, man, why in the heck did we just put our future, okay, on a guy who's got a total resume of 15 games and put the Rams at risk when I can go out and grab a receiver, tight end, whatever it might be.
There's a lot of stories about the upper management meeting with Ty, meeting Ty's family. Ty's dad, the head coach of Tennessee, Martin. One of the things that I've heard, which is funny, by the way, I'll back up to last Saturday on the quad was Mr. Ty Simpson right before the Morgan Wallen concert, and I walked over to him, and there was a moment between 2 people talking to him, and I just said, "Hey Ty, good luck in L.A." and walked away, and he just kind of smiled and shook his head. And sure enough, he's in LA.
The funny part about that was I think he knew the Rams were in on him, right? They knew the interest. The interest may have been mutual. I don't know Ty's opinion on it. It seemed mutual from Ty's point of view. But this was kind of a decision that was made a while back for the Rams that they were like really interested in this kid. And it was going to come down to, and I think the Jeremiah Love pick for the Cardinals changed this up a lot. The Rams were going to panic. They were going to get Ty. They wanted Ty or nothing else. They were going to trade in the top 5 to get him.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm shocked they didn't. I'm shocked they didn't trade back.
They could have.
You could still got Ty at 20.
I think they could have. Yeah.
Yes, you could have. Okay. And a lot of the crazy part was Ty was graded 2 days before the draft as second round pick, and Dan Orlovsky was talking about this. You keep going further and further down this road of the next day he's listed then as one of the top picks in the second round the day before the draft, and then you get into the draft and it shoots up. I mean, you had this kid going from anywhere from the later first to top 5, just to see how the draft folds out. And when Love was picked for the Cardinals, the Rams got to breathe a little bit. And, everybody thought Love was going to the Titans, and that's when you would have saw them trade up.
The poor Titans.
They didn't end up with a bad role. They got the wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Yeah, later on, but I think they kind of as far as Ty's concerned, the Rams got a great quarterback, a great guy that's going to stick with them. that fits in their system, that fits in their program, that's going to sit there and learn. There's going to be a day during this next football season where Stafford gets hurt, tweaks an ankle, hurts a pinky toe, something, and Ty's going to get to come in there, and it's not going to be the end of the world for the current Super Bowl favorites.
We get the opportunity to, over the next couple of years, to discuss the Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza argument. They're set up in two very similar situations now. Okay. Now Ty didn't have a Tom Brady over there.
Yeah.
But, okay.
He's got Matthew Stafford.
He's got Matthew Stafford. Fernando Mendoza hanging on with Kirk Cousins over there, along with Tom Brady. I think this is going to be a cool matchup to see over the next couple of years whose career ends up better, because it looks like Fernando's going to learn for a little bit behind Kirk Cousins, and that's kind of what Kirk Cousins has been used for these past couple of years in Atlanta, and now Ty gets to do the same thing with the Rams. So it's going to be, I think, for at least for Ty, it's going to be a couple of years until Stafford decides to hang it up to take the reins of the franchise with the Rams. But for Fernando, I think he's going to get a little bit earlier start with the Raiders. I think
he'll start day one.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Who will?
I was saying Fernando Mendoza.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure
Fernando Mendoza starts day 1,000%. There is zero question.
Number one guy. It's just the way it is.
You just paid how much to Kirk Cousins? You're not going to give him a game?
No.
Yeah. He's there to mentor.
He's paid a lot of money for Kirk Cousins.
He's there to mentor.
All right.
So are we forgetting about Stetson Bennett, by the way? Are we just going to throw this and ignore that part of the Rams conversation?
Is Stetson Bennett an NFL starter?
No. Simple answer. No. Long answer.
Is he a serviceable backup? 100%. He will not be able to take the reins of an NFL franchise and take him to the Super Bowl.
No.
So do you think that and instantly you can say Ty Simpson is?
I think him and Ty will compete for playing times for the first season, and then the second season, Ty takes the reins, the second string, if Matthew Stafford doesn't hang it up.
And Jimmy's officially retired, right? Garoppolo?
Is Garoppolo a Ram?
Yes. I thought Garoppolo was on that staff.
I thought Garoppolo was still in San Francisco.
Man, I'm losing my mind.
I'm going to go even a step further than what you just said there. Over the next 2 seasons, the best quarterback taken in this draft is Carson Beck.
Oh,
Beck went to the Cardinals, did he not?
He did, with the first pick of the third round.
Third.
I was looking at that
over the next.
That was a solid pick.
Over the next 2 seasons, Fernando Mendoza will start. Carson Beck will start. Carson Beck is in a better position. He will be the better quarterback for the next 2 seasons.
It depends the offense they run in Arizona. Carson Beck wasn't a fit for the offense down in Miami, yet he made it work.
Right. I think he's a chameleon, and I think he'll be fine. And then I think Ty is going to get at least 1 full year as the backup. He's going to get in at some point in time. At some point in time, something's going to happen to Stafford. He's going to miss a couple of drives, maybe a game, something of that nature. But nothing crazy.
I knew I was not crazy. Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He's listed as the Rams' backup quarterback, and a lot of that conversation was coming up. And Stetson Bennett was like the third string guy, and a lot of that was sitting on whether or not Garoppolo was going to retire. And he has said he's retiring.
So he's retiring.
McVay, and McVay literally said that's not necessarily news to us, so they knew it was coming.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So they drafted their backup quarterback and their quarterback of the future.
Right. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. Hey guys, if you want to hit us up, you can do so on YouTube. Just hit us up here in the comments section. D Smith already hitting us up. Good morning, Off the Bench crew. Beck 100%. So he's in agreement that Beck may be the best quarterback to come out of this class and the situation he has brought in down there in Arizona. I think it's a fair point. There's nothing wrong with that. Guys, you can do many things here. If you'd like to give us a like on YouTube, you can do so. We really appreciate it here. If you want to hit us up through Facebook, you can do so as well. We could respond to anything over there as well at Off the Bench. If you're on the radio side, you can join us on YouTube at Off the Bench CFP Show. We're just having a fun day today. Of course, Fernando Mendoza going number 1, big headline here today in the draft. We're going to be discussing more of the draft throughout the day. Elijah Haven, the number 2 quarterback in the 2027 class, is set to make his commitment today. I've gotten multiple times here. I've seen 11:30 and I've seen between 3:30 and 4:30. Varying times everywhere here for Elijah Haven. He's deciding between the Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
It's
never a bad
never a bad choice there. It looks like he's got a future anywhere he does go. And of course, the college football playoff expansion for 24 teams has heated up once again. We're going to discuss it all right here. Do not change that dial. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks, Huntsville. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine, co-host Richie sitting over here to my left, and Pops opposite screen to us. So last night was not only a big night for, 2 nights ago, it was not only a big night for the draft, it was a big night for Alabama as a whole. They continued their long streak of consecutive first-round draft picks, still leading number one. I think it's 22 years now.
Yeah, it was.
I remember right. Ahead of Ohio State, which is down at 13. Ohio State had a big night, probably the biggest night.
Was it 4 picks in the top?
Yeah, the joke on the broadcast was that there was a during the middle of the draft an Ohio State commercial broke out, and then shortly thereafter, a Nick Saban commercial broke out because he had 3 go with Downs, Proctor, Ty. They were all Nick's boys.
Bama ties.
That also ended the SEC's long run of leading the first round every year since 2015, because the Big Ten finished with 10 picks in the first round of the draft. But, of course, Tyrese Proctor going into, I would say, a very dysfunctional situation over there in Miami. But a cornerstone offensive lineman's never a bad pick to start off your rebuild. So I was actually a big applause of that pick from Miami.
Lowest grade in the draft, though.
Yeah, he had
it's like a D- or something, and I've seen from Miami, who's trying to rebuild this team, and they take an offensive lineman, not to knock Proctor, and it blew my mind when Proctor got picked.
But they traded up one, or no, they traded back one.
I would just like, man, how in the heck does this guy that has all of these issues? Yeah,
if you're starting off a rebuild, okay, you don't have a quarterback. Okay, so if you pick a quarterback, they're not going to be protected. If they would have went Ty, right?
Yeah.
There's no protection there. You go wide receiver, there's nobody to throw the ball to. Okay. You go defense. Okay, that's fine. Go defense. Okay. But you're starting off with the offensive line. It's a Cowboys kind of pick, actually. When you're going through a rebuild, you need to rebuild your offensive line. And Jerry Jones, if he doesn't know who to pick, offensive line, who's available?
He has not picked offensive lineman this year.
He did not. He did not. Okay.
Somebody got to Jerry this year.
Yeah.
But you did bring up the fact that the SEC lost their streak of the most, but after the second round, still have the most. After the third round, still have the most.
So another thing that ended as well is the Nick Saban era of draft picks is now over.
Yeah.
So there's nobody that's Nick Saban-ish left.
Jeremy Bernard started off the Kalen DeBoer era last night. In the third round, Jeremy Bernard started off the era of Kalen DeBoer prospects coming out of Alabama.
Yeah, but so, I mean, there's still some boys left in the draft, like Ty Lawson still left in the draft, Tim Keenan still left in the draft. None of those boys are Saban boys?
That would be.
That's it.
Well, Lawson would be.
For sure. Yeah.
Tim Keenan. Yeah, Tim Keenan would be, I guess.
But with all the transfers and everything, so yeah, I mean, it's gonna eventually,
I think that's the last 2.
I got a couple of fun stats for you since you brought up the SEC, losing their streak. Through 93 picks last night, and this was the last I saw the update. Missouri had more picks. Had twice as many picks as Texas and Oklahoma combined.
Texas didn't lose a lot of talent,
which says a ton about Texas going forward to next year, and even more about Missouri. And how many guys Missouri had picked. Missouri and Texas A&M were a complete. If you are a Missouri fan and a Texas A&M fan, and you watch the last 2 days of this draft, you have got to be kicking yourself in the butt, going, "How in the world did we have this much day 1 and day 2 NFL talent?" Because day 2 last night was just full of daggum starters.
Well, I mean, Missouri was riddled with injuries throughout last year.
Right.
I mean, completely. Yeah. That's what derailed their season. At one point, they were in conversation for the SEC championship. And then they got derailed with Bo Prepula going down, their starting quarterback. It just kind of went off the rails for Missouri last year. But I understand what you're talking about here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You had that much talent, you've got to be kicking yourself. Like Alabama, we're as Alabama fans, we're so used to making the SEC championship game, going to the playoffs, even winning championships. We had 2 guys in the first round.
I was just glad we got 2.
But
Let's just
the
be
whole
honest.
conversation going into draft day was Alabama going to have a first round pick?
Yeah, because there was conversations about
how many quarterbacks going to go in the first round? Okay, I was saying leading up to the draft, I think someone's going to trade up for Ty. Okay, that it never necessarily happened. No, but in the conversation that actually happened was Ty ended up going at a respectable position in the draft. It was interesting to see because he was almost expected to be almost a Will Levis type day for Ty.
Yeah,
a lot of people thought that was going to be the case, and then Proctor was the question mark because who was going to go out there and fall in love with Proctor and go grab him?
Yeah, and apparently Miami.
Yeah, but look what Miami did this year with Alabama players. Okay, no more Tua.
Yeah, and no more Tua.
No more Tua. No more Micah Fitzpatrick. No more. Who's the receiver? They all left.
Yeah,
they all left. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m., 1039 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Uffine. Co-host Richie sitting to the left of me, and of course, Pops opposite side of the camera from us. We're discussing the best available still going into the later rounds of the draft today. Tennessee corner Jamad McCoy has fallen. At one point expected to be a first-round pick, and he is still on the board right now. Going in we're in the
We're going to the
round.
fourth. We start.
Was he in the green room? Was he in the green
I don't.
room?
Oh Lord, if he
Oh,
was.
that's
Oh,
a
is
tough
he
fall
the
right
Will
there.
Levis this year?
Now, I did hear
That's a tough fall right there.
there was one kid that was in the green room and didn't get picked in the first round, and who's the commissioner?
Roger Goodell.
Roger
Boo.
I was gonna boo you every time you talked about the draft. Make you feel like the commissioner of the show. The commissioner went to him and said, I want you to come back tomorrow. I want you to get your shot. And he was picked. He was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, give me 17 seconds here. He was picked by the
Bated breath, man. Come on, Richie. No pressure.
Texans. McDonald, the defensive tackle from Ohio State. He was one of the Ohio State boys that was in the green room last night.
Right.
They asked him to come back. He was fired up. He was ready to go. He's going to kind of have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, so that might end up being a good thing for him when it's all said and done. Sometimes you get these guys that if you fall like that, there's this kind of nobody wanted me, Eeyore moment, like woe is me, nobody loves me, and then there's this moment where you're like, okay, I'm fixing to go out here and show every one of y'all should have taken me.
That's that chip on the shoulder. But let's just be honest. The whole Will Levis thing, and everybody knows, and his girlfriend's watching him. That's what made that moment in the green room, man. She was just like, I just don't want to be with this guy anymore. He's not even getting picked.
Guys, if you want to hit us up this morning, you can do so on YouTube. Hit us up at Off the Bench CFB Show. Of course, other people hitting us up this morning as well. John Little hitting us up. Morning. We'll go morning to you, John, as well. Eli also hitting us up. Morning, y'all. Been excited about the Cowboys draft picks so far. Of course, headlined by Caleb Downs. Probably what I would say one of the most talented pickups in the draft, especially where the Cowboys were at. To get a player like Caleb Downs.
And how does he fall so far down in the draft order?
Giants fans wanted him.
Oh,
Giants fans
they
were not happy they selected Arvell Reese instead of Caleb Downs. They needed safety help over there in New York. They went with linebacker, which in an already packed room at linebacker for the Giants. Okay, you have Burns over there. There's so many people in the room over there for the Giants, and they'll go and pick linebacker. Obviously, they're going to spread some people to edge, but it was a disappointing draft for the first round for the Giants. Not that they didn't get talent, but that they they passed on Downs multiple times.
I mean, I love the banter with Ryan Day and Saban when they were talking about Downs, and Ryan Day made this comment about how Downs was such a mess when he arrived at Ohio State. And it was all banter. It was all like, Nick Saban, how are you going to respond to that? And Nick's like, but there was a couple of media outlets that like seriously reported that without seeing what was going on the screen right there, without knowing that Ryan Day and Saban were on the draft telecast.
Knowing the history between Alabama, Ohio State, and Caleb Downs. Knowing the history there is important. Also remember that Caleb Downs was the fastest player in history to lose his black stripe at Ohio State. Where's it gained black stripe? I never knew. Me and Pops were arguing back and forth.
Lose it. And they got them crazy weird.
Ohio State's got some weird
Buckeyes or those marijuana, whatever those things are on their helmets. But I mean, come on now. I still got to wonder though. I don't get how somebody is talented, and then how, everybody's been talking about how NFL ready Caleb Downs is, but how does he fall that far back? And, we were talking last week before last, whatever it was. And I was joking, man, if the Cowboys could just pick up Caleb Downs, and man, I just couldn't believe it happened when it happened. And then the Cowboys also in their other two picks have taken edge rushers.
Yep.
You think they learned a little bit of lesson, letting old boy go up to Green Bay?
Well, you can say, and I had said a couple days ago, I thought Parsons, that trade, I think it would have been a bad trade for the Cowboys if it didn't pay off for them in this draft.
Right.
And I think right now, with the perception of getting Caleb Downs, it's huge for the Cowboys. That really sits back and says, okay, maybe that Parsons trade, because Parsons may have been one of the best players to ever have the star on the side of his helmet. Okay, if he wasn't traded, now you're sitting in the opportunity to bring in a kid that's oozing with talent that could have came out of college as a freshman and had playing time in the NFL, had tackles in the NFL. He could have put up production. You're putting this kid in a defense that needs the help desperately, okay, since that loss. So now of course, you get Kenny Clark out of that trade. Now you have Caleb Downs sitting at safety to really rejuvenate this defensive side for the Cowboys. I honestly could say right now that I think the Parsons trade, to this point, the perception of it has paid off.
I think it worked for everybody involved. It wasn't this crazy one-sided, trade where, one team, won the trade, the other team lost the trade. It seems like both teams got what they wanted out of it. I do want to point out, because I thought this was funny, just a couple of picks later, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took Ruben Bain.
Ruben Bain was another one of those kids for the Cowboys that I wouldn't have been disappointed if the Cowboys were to take him. But obviously, with Downs on the clock, or with Downs still available at that time, that was my number one.
Right. Yeah.
Go get Downs. But nothing discounting Ruben Bain. He was a phenomenal player at Miami. I actually thought he was going to go to Miami.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They didn't take him.
What was cool though is you're in Pittsburgh. It's kind of got a little bit of a Batman feel to it, with the Bane getting picked. The way he came out of that, he came out like he was fixing to just he looked like he was about to tackle. You know how they hug Roger Goodell?
Yeah.
He looked like if Roger Goodell would have just turned the wrong way, he would have just thought, oh, it just absolutely just destroyed it. But it was kind of cool that this, all the Pittsburgh, the biggest winner, okay, of all of the first two nights, that by far the biggest winner is the NFL. They have figured out how to turn this into a 300,000 plus fandemonium traveling circus that is just so cool. Pops, I'm sure we're a little older than the fine young man
Padawan over here.
Yeah, young Padawan over here. It wasn't that long ago that the draft was with the first pick that it was.
I mean,
Dallas Cowboys select.
Yeah,
I remember when the draft was held at music
the Rocket City Music City the Rocket.
Well, we can't talk to that.
Wow.
New York Music Hall.
Yes.
I remember that was
where the Rockettes performed.
Yes, that was my era of the draft was being held there. I mean, I always reference Draft Day.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the movie Draft Day growing up. That was when I was growing up. It was a football movie, made perfect sense for me. Oh, Kevin Costner over there, right? So when I think of the draft, that's what I think of. And they turned this into a spectacle of, hey, let's travel around to NFL stadiums and do this.
I was just sitting there thinking about little brother, because we hadn't brought up little brother yet, and that would be the Auburn Tigers on the socials. Caleb Mills, Kendrick Falk to the Titans, War Dang Eagle. So I
feel bad for the Titans.
Yeah, so I guess the Auburn did get somebody picked up in the draft.
Caleb hitting us up, big friend of the program here. Hopefully we'll get him on the future. I can't say any more about that. But yeah, I mean, the draft turned out fairly well, even for the Titans there with Love taken out of their grasp there. They ended up pivoting and going wide receiver with the Ohio State kid. I'm going to forget his name here. But it was disappointing for the Titans for Carnell Tate, disappointing for the Titans at first. And then they kind of replaced the production they had lost there.
Here's my thing. I don't think Tate was the best wide receiver. He's definitely not the best wide receiver on his team.
Well,
and he wasn't the best wide receiver available in the draft. So why did the Titans take, if they were going to take a wide receiver, why do you take him?
Well, I mean, we could argue that, like we were doing the other day, that the best players that would have been in this draft have to come out next year.
I think
the two best players, I think probably if they were in this year's draft that are going next year, would have been picked maybe 1 and 2.
Who?
And that would be Arch Manning and that'd be Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. We discussed that. And then, it's the prospects in this draft were not as highly valued as they have been in the past. These first round trades that happen, the value just was not there.
The according to the experts, the number one wide receiver in this year's draft was picked 20th overall by the Eagles. Micaiah, the kid out of USC, absolute stud wide receiver. And so the Titans take not the best wide receiver in the draft, not the second best wide receiver in the draft. It's like it's almost like you said, it's almost like the Love was taken third and they kind of looked at each other and were like, that guy, and just pointed.
Well, and the argument with the whole thing of, this best wide receivers in the draft. Okay. We've even talked about the Mekhi Lemon situation, which was insane on draft day. He was going to be picked by 2 teams. And going back and forth, he was going to be a Steeler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then his agent comes running in the room. Wrong. You're going to be an Eagle.
Yeah.
And so there were so many things that were going on draft day. He had to hang up a phone call from the Steelers to get on the phone with the Eagles. Okay?
Because the Steelers had the 21st pick.
Right.
The Eagles traded up to 20 to take him.
Right,
because because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Dallas had the 20th pick. They traded, which
Dallas changed everything up.
It blows my mind that these teams that are rivals will trade to help the other team. Like,
a lot of people think Lemon's a bust.
Yeah,
a lot of people have been on the train this morning that Mekhi Lemon will be a bust, and the Cowboys didn't like him. So they handed him to a silver platter for the Eagles.
I mean, but they're going to need somebody if Pickens goes elsewhere. The Cowboys will. I mean, they
will. They 100% will. He's been franchise tagged. There's no news on if he'll be traded or not. Caleb hit us up again. They must have seen something about tape, but as long as Cam Ward gets anyone to throw to, things will get better. That's true. I mean, Cam Ward needs help.
I think Richie's available for the.
I was about to say, I think I could make the Titans better. Like saying that anybody for him to throw to makes the Titans better is like saying if I add sugar to this cookie recipe, it's gonna be better. Like,
are the Titans okay now?
No.
Are the Titans okay because are they still mad about Vrabel?
No. Well, they're not okay.
They fired Vrabel. Are they still okay?
They have Cam Ward as their quarterback.
There's nothing wrong with Cam Ward. He was well deserving of the number 1 pick. He's going to do fine. He needs help.
Fine. He's going to do fine. You're an NFL franchise, and your quarterback, the most important position on the team, is fine.
They win 5 games.
If you went and called your girlfriend, oh yeah, she's fine.
What happens throughout NFL history when a quarterback who's been there a couple years finally gets a star wide receiver to throw to and a serviceable O-line?
Call one of your buddies right now with your girlfriend in the background listening and tell him, oh yeah, she's fine. Not like, oh, she's fine to look at. No, she's fine.
And then tell her to relax. Sorry.
Yeah. And then ask her to make you a sandwich. Because that's
Are we comparing Cam Ward to a needy girlfriend?
Not even a needy girlfriend. Like
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
If you
Like-
can, you'll come to you.
Sounded like Shara. .30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Elfine, co-host Richie Sid to the left of me, and of course, Pops opposite camera from us. Discussed a lot about the NFL draft this morning, of course, going back and forth from the picks and who made it out well within the first round of the draft. Of course, we're entering the fourth round today, but there's a lot of other things going on around the country. Of course, playoff expansion could be happening soon. That's been kind of ramped up over the last couple of days and the meetings that have been happening. But there's also recruiting within college football still. It's not just the transfer portal. Elijah Haven is going to commit today, second overall quarterback in the 2027 class. Between Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn. Seems like Auburn's out of the conversation to this point, but he's still up in there. They're still up in there trying to sneak in there. But as of right now, it looks like Alabama is going to get him later today.
He's got 100% crystal ball. I mean, that's
I've
pretty
seen
good.
a 98. I've seen a 98.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of five-star quarterbacks coming to Alabama,
Right?
I got a little bit of a trivia question for you before the hour ends. From 2016 to 2025, the University of Alabama starting day one and day two talent at quarterback every game except for two. So that means since 2016, the starting quarterback at the University of Alabama was drafted in the first or second day, so the first three rounds of the draft,
Right.
except for two games. Do you know who those two games were?
16. Would that have been Blake Sims?
I think Blake Sims is one of them.
Nope, not Blake Sims.
Coker was early for that. Was
Bl-
Coker too early for that?
Yeah. You said 2015 on, right?
From 2016 on.
16 on.
There's too many of them.
There's so many of them. I'm gonna go blank on it.
Blake Barnett started
Barnett.
versus USC
The name
in
you forget about.
2016.
I know who the other one's going to
Who's
be.
the other one?
That Notre Dame quarterback ended up playing
Oh,
lacrosse.
Tyler Buckner,
Yeah.
was the
Tyler
starting
Buckner.
quarterback for USF.
Yeah.
2023.
good one. You got us on that one.
So you had from 2016 to 2017, Jalen Hurts started pretty much every game except for that first one.
Yeah.
From 18 to 19, Tua was the quarterback. Mac Jones, Bryce Young, Jalen Milroe, and then Mr. Ty Simpson. You had second round with Jalen Hurts, who went on to win a Super Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa was the 5th overall pick. Mac Jones was the 15th overall pick. Bryce Young was the number 1 pick. Jalen Milroe was the 3rd round, who went on to win a Super Bowl.
Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Milroe for the Seattle Seahawks.
Just because he didn't,
Hey, just like Ty
play in that game.
Yeah.
Ty's going to get some Jalen Milroe consideration.
Hey, so I got a really good comparison with Ty Simpson and another quarterback when we come back for the next hour.
Okay. I'm interested to see. Guys, if you're new here, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share the show, all that good stuff. We're going 2 hours on YouTube today. We still got another hour to go here on the Off the Bench College Football Show. If you want to hit us up, you can do so. You can do so on YouTube at Off the Bench CFP Show, and of course on Facebook at Off the Bench. We still have so much to get here. We're going to talk expansion into the playoff next segment. It's ramping up a lot over the last couple days within the meetings. Still waiting for Elijah Haven. It seems like it's going to go on after the draft, after the show ends today. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. .30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine, co-host Richie.
Who?
Co-host Richie Jones, sitting to the left of me, pops on the other side of the camera over here. We were talking NFL draft this morning. Of course, Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall to the Raiders. Ty Simpson go to the Rams. A little bit of Tyrese Proctor action in between there, as well as Caleb Downs over there to the Cowboys. A lot of picks to discuss. This was a very underwhelming draft, I think, of talent-wise, but we've kind of made do, it seems the NFL has.
I think we've had it. I want to disagree with that a little bit. I think with star power.
Understandably so.
I think there's a ton of starting players.
There's a lot of talent throughout the draft. I think this is a deeper draft than we've had in years past. But I think this is in a high-end class, I give you that.
The big names, the ceiling is lower, but the wider.
Hey, you know what's the same? The money that exchanges hands.
That is very
a little bit more.
Okay, what you got?
So I got one for you. All right.
Okay.
So we got a comparison with the current Ty Simpson, right? We're talking about Ty this morning. I just want to see if you can guess who this other quarterback is. So this is a snapshot comparison with Ty Simpson and another quarterback through 10 games, roughly. Okay. Ty Simpson, 62.7% completion. This other quarterback was 71.5. 1,684 yards passing for Ty, 32 30 for passing for this other quarterback, 15 total touchdowns, 31 total touchdowns for the other quarterback, 6 interceptions for Ty, 3 interceptions for the other one, 135.8 rating. So who are we comparing to Ty Simpson to?
Fernando Mendoza.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Tua Tagovailoa.
No.
No.
Okay.
Are you talking about
one
other-
quarterback went 13th overall. We know who that is. That's
Yeah.
Ty, right? The other quarterback went 144th overall.
Oh, you got me then.
Dak Prescott?
No.
Now Dak went high.
No, Dak went like 4th round.
He did go. Yeah, you're right. 4th.
Yeah.
Think prime time.
Prime time.
Oh,
Shador
Shador.
Sanders.
Shador?
I'm just
Pro Bowl, Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler, man.
Pro Bowl.
So with those, I mean, this is like a 10-game snapshot. It just goes to tell you a little bit about what the ownership of the Rams thinks of Ty Simpson from a potential perspective down the road, right? But I mean, it also shows you too what type of character you have coming into the draft. I mean, that's what really messed up Shador. I mean, his a little bit of character issues. Ty's a game manager. He's well spoken. He's all of those things. He goes 13th, and somebody that put up the numbers that Shador put up goes 144th overall. Of course, to the Browns.
Well, bless their hearts as every Southern.
It's a good Southernism there.
So discussing, we've been back and forth between Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza this morning, discussing in the long run who will be the better quarterback in the NFL, the type of situations they are in, everything that really has gone around between the two prospects the last couple of days. I think in the long run, Ty Simpson may have a more stable career.
I mean, your choices are. So I made the comment during the last hour that I thought Carson Beck would win the first 2 years as far as this draft is concerned, with him going to the Cardinals.
He's also a little bit more experienced. He's like 31 at this point.
Yeah.
No, he's not 31 years old. He's 26.
He's got 7 degrees. I wonder if he ever got that paper turned in.
Yeah.
So kick back to a previous
I mean, it's
episode.
just a point is that Carson Beck is an older, mature quarterback coming into the NFL.
Also, let's be honest. If you were to be drafted today, would you rather be drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders or the Los Angeles Rams?
The Rams.
Yeah. There's by leaps and bounds. The only franchise that right now that seems less stable than the Raiders is the Browns, which we discussed, and the Titans, which I've discussed
over the past couple of years. Look, the Raiders is in a bad situation. Mark Davis has kind of gotten that team and fluctuated the value of a little bit of that team. They've had a solid defense. Max Crosby leading that over there, right? Offense has been the dysfunctional part, but you're going into a brand new stadium, in Allegiant Stadium. Okay. Las Vegas, the fans were never lost in Oakland. It's still a crazy fan base. You have a loyal fan base over there. Okay. Those Oakland fans are still traveling over there.
As far as fan base, it's probably Cowboys, Patriots, Raiders, man.
I mean, it is a loyal fan base. Maybe the team needs a little bit of, functionality added to it, right? The offensive needs a little refresh. The defense is starting to look like they need a refresh. Look, I mean, the Raiders, there's nothing bad about going into that organization. The Rams have just been more stable over the last decade.
Richie and I don't agree on a lot of things, but I'm going to back him on this Carson Beck thing, right? Mendoza is going to touch the field on day one.
Absolutely.
He's the number 1 draft pick. He's going to touch the field. Ty doesn't see the field for 2 years, and he's still going to have to battle with Stetson Bennett for backup quarterback role
allegedly,
if he ever touches the field, right? And in Beck, I think Beck touches the field day one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. He does his thing. I mean, Carson Beck he seems to win wherever he goes.
I mean, you can argue with the value that the Cardinals have had through the first couple of rounds of the draft. Okay, They go take Love. He was arguably the best running back in the class. You don't see running backs go that high in the NFL
the best
draft.
offensive player in the draft.
You don't see running backs you don't see running backs go that high anymore. We've seen it a handful of times over the past decade in the NFL
Quarterbacks,
draft.
offensive linemen, tackles specifically.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
edge rushers.
it's just not a common thing. Okay. You're bringing in, you just completely refreshed your offense. Two of the most important guys on that side of the offense. You just completely refreshed it. There's nothing wrong with Carson Beck. He had a really good college career. He brought Miami to a national championship. He competed at a high level at Georgia for a long time. Carson Beck has the experience to go out there and probably start at day one in the NFL. Okay.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with the guy sitting on the bench for a couple games, letting him work through, getting him in the groove of the team, right? All that stuff, okay? But the Cardinals, I think it's a good draft. It's a fair assessment to say they have had one of the best drafts through the first couple of days because of how they have taken their value picks and they have turned it into probably a more functional offense than they have had in a pretty good long time.
Okay, so I know the schedule hasn't been released, but for those of you on YouTube or Facebook, either one, if the Cardinals and the Raiders played that Monday night game, they always play the Super Bowl champs always win, usually get the big game. But if they put the Raiders versus Cardinals, that Monday night game, week 1, who do you think is who has the better quarterback stats when the game is over, Mendoza or Beck? So if they played week 1, hit us up in the chat. Who you think would be the better quarterback week 1?
Are we going to factor in the running back situation now for both those teams as well?
I'm just saying.
Love
I'm saying,
and GT?
Who do you think is the better quarterback week 1? Who has the best stats? Who is the rookie of the year after week 1?
Long term, who do you think is the better running back, though? GT and Love, right there. There's
Love.
a good snapshot right there. You think Love?
I think Love's
after all of the GT should have been a Heisman winner, all of this, now you're turning into.
I think Love is a just straight up great, not just person, but he loves the game of football. He studies the game of football. I think he's going to be the better running back when it's all said and done.
I actually agree with you just because I think the longevity for GT, he doesn't have elusiveness. He runs through you.
Right.
Okay. He's a big thumper. I mean, he is just going to run you over. It doesn't last that long.
Not in the NFL.
Especially with running backs. It just doesn't.
Hey, Kels, I put in a poll on the YouTube side. Who has the best year in the NFL this year? Number 1, Ty Simpson. Number 2, Carson Beck. Number 3, Fernando Mendoza. I didn't even try to spell Fernando, so ignore that. But if you guys are online, hey, you just you can answer the poll online.
That's okay. Caleb hitting us up on YouTube as well. He just said Mendoza. Mendoza goated was his actual words, but he didn't say Fernando either.
I just think Mendoza's going to get the most playing time, probably. I mean, right off the bat.
Him and Beck are going to get the exact same amount of playing time. Ty
touches the field.
If I was a betting man, how many snaps are in a full game of the NFL? On offense,
how many? 100 plays. Yeah, no. You get more than that in the NFL.
On offense, though?
40,
how many 50
snaps?
plays?
I think it's 60, 65, 70.
I doubt Ty gets 50 snaps first season.
No, I'm probably high there. Yeah, I think you're probably right
and
there.
I think when it's all said and done, Ty doesn't get a full game worth of play in the first season.
Yeah,
unless something hopefully doesn't. By no means do I want this to happen. And I've stolen the camera from you.
Yeah, I've stolen the camera. We're gonna have to fix that in the break here 1 second here.
I do not want anything bad to happen to Matthew Stafford. Do not think I think he's a great guy. The Rams deserve a shot at the Super Bowl this year. But I think Ty gets in, maybe a quarter here, a quarter there kind of thing. And we'll just go from there.
Guys, if you want to vote in the poll we have just put in the chat here, you can type 1, 2, or 3 about who you believe is going to have the best year in the NFL. No, 1 for Ty Simpson, 2 for Carson Beck, and 3 for Fernando Mendoza over there. So there's a lot of things we can talk about today, right? There's the draft still going on, the best available players we've discussed through the draft, but of course, there's also some college football playoff consideration about what is the future of college football within that. So from what I have heard through the grapevine, things of this nature, is that the SEC and the coaches obviously not for this 16-team playoff. Or excuse me, not for the 2014 playoff. they are for the 16-team playoff, or they're completely content with staying at 12. The other leagues around the country, not so.
I got to disagree with you. I have heard the ADs and the coaches of the SEC are mad.
Let me get to that point.
Okay, that we
The
stayed
AD
at 12.
and the coaches are not happy they stayed at 12 because they decided to add another conference game.
Mhm.
So now they feel betrayed because now their schedule is harder when it doesn't need to be, because they were expecting, oh, we'll have 16 or 24. It'll be set up in the right position for them. But now they're not happy because now they have to play an extra conference game, and it's going to be just that much tougher to get to the college football playoff because the strength of schedule just went higher for them, when we all know the college football playoff committee hasn't valued strength of schedule correctly these last couple of years.
And they've got, so I am fully on record as to saying that that we should go to 32. 100% think we should go to 32. I think 24 makes, you got to go 16 or 32. 24 makes no sense to me whatsoever.
When the hell do you start the season then if you're playing 32-game playoff?
It doesn't change the schedule at all. 32 goes down. You play one round, you're down to 16. You play second round, you're down to 8.
So
you're not adding.
Another discussion.
So you're talking about 7 teams that are outside the top 25, Dan, that you think should have the right to play for the National College Football
I
Championship.
100% think 32 makes significantly more sense than 24 does.
Richie, we have been round and round about this.
So I've been completely against this. I like it 12. I'm okay with going to
12.
16. I'm okay with going to 16. 24 is completely out of the realm of possibility. Okay. It would turn into chaos. It is not what, so around countrywide, that is not the popular opinion is 24.
We've already got
Okay.
chaos in this.
What is popular around the country is 16. That is very popular, but because of TV money, we need to go hit the bank account. The college football does. We're going to expand this to 24.
The ATM, yeah.
The ATM, right? That's why they want to expand it to 24.
Yeah,
it is completely about college football money. They bring in $1.3 billion annually with the 12 team. They want to cash in more. That is their whole goal through this process, okay? But there is another issue within the SEC. You cannot legally, contractually get rid of the SEC championship.
Oh, yeah, you can.
No, you cannot. They're contracted in by ESPN. They cannot legally get out of that.
So for how many years? Contracts aren't indefinite. So for like
indefinite.
5 years,
I don't
10
know how
years.
long the contract is.
And you don't think,
as of right now, assuming it's for the next couple of years, the SEC cannot break that. They're contractually obligated to perform in the SEC championship game. So you have to now discuss, they have to play 9 games. If they move to 24, you also have to play a conference championship game plus that 9th game. No matter what.
I'm too old school. I like my conference championships. You know, I want to see Georgia, Bama, Texas, Bama, somebody Bama in the conference championship, right? And that's just because that's what tends to happen every year, right?
Yeah.
You know, but I'm old school with that. Don't do away with the conference championship. I do think it adds to the complexity of the decision that the playoff committee has to make. We saw that this year. We saw it last year, you know, especially when they're playing, you know, that Saturday before selection show on Sunday. And then, you know, all the talk this year, you know, with Bama getting blown out by Georgia. And then it's like, all right, do they deserve to be? But you got to have a conference championship, man.
You don't have to have a conference.
I think it just goes back to our goals that we talked about. You know how teams set goals every year, right? You know, I think that's one of those goals that teams have. Hey, let's win our conference, okay? Not every team goes out there and says, hey, we're going to win the national championship this year.
But you go out there on the field that you're going to win the national championship. You go out, you start. Every team we've spent an hour and 15 minutes talking about the draft. Every NFL team yesterday, when they picked their first round draft, or 2 days ago, Thursday night, when they picked their first round draft pick, every one of them, their goal is to win the Super Bowl. Yes, there are some of them that know they have zero chance to win the Super Bowl, but their goal is to win the Super Bowl. Their goal is not to make the playoffs or to win the AFC or to have the prettiest cheerleaders on the sideline. Their goal is to win the Super Bowl.
But I go back on this art. Caleb hitting us up again in the chat here. January Madness as well as SEC Championship is my natty. And I feel like a lot of people, especially down south, do feel that way. Okay. They feel that their SEC Championship game, that is more important to them to the national championship.
No.
I think there's a lot of people in the South who do care more about that game. And it's because of the talent wise. You're the best conference in college football doing that. You have the best conference going up against each other, so they feel that way.
I think it's another resume builder, man.
If you ask every fan leaving Bryant-Denny Stadium after a football game, hey, y'all can win the SEC championship, but you don't even make it to the national championship game.
That's never going to happen.
As a fan, okay, we're not talking about the teams right now. As a fan, are you more excited to see Alabama, Georgia play, or are you more excited to see the national championship?
The national championship.
Oh, as a Bama fan, man, I'd rather
see Alabama, Georgia on a.
I mean, if Bama's in the national championship,
you get that during the regular season.
Exactly.
Why not?
What I'm saying, the fans in the South.
Okay, as a fan of college football, I care about college football. Yes, my number one team is the University of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
My number two team is whoever's playing Tennessee
or Auburn.
That's my third best team who's ever playing Auburn.
So you're saying, okay, you would rather see a national championship, okay, than seeing the Red River rivalry.
Oh,
than going to
go. Yeah, I've been to 3 national championship games.
Right.
They are amazing spectacles. Yes, the Red River rivalry happens every season.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the same place every season. Yes, I would love to go to that because I've never been to it.
Yeah.
I've been to 3 national championship games.
But I'm just saying as a viewpoint.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that you're going to the game.
Okay, would you rather go to...
My argument is that the fans in the South are more excited about the SEC championship.
Would you rather go see a Super Bowl or an Eagles-Cowboys game?
I can't say I actually have any intent to go to an NFL game.
Okay, but would you... okay, I'm going to give you tickets to an NFL game. Would you rather go to the Super Bowl or go see the Eagles, Cowboys, and Jerryland?
No, I feel like that's different. I mean, obviously, I'd choose the Super Bowl, but I just feel like it's different.
Okay, it's still the same sport. It's still the same game. We're talking about going to 24, which means 8 teams get a bye, which is the stupidest thing in the planet to me that we're giving that many teams a bye. If you're going to go to 24, you go to 32, you add 1 game to the schedule by going to 32.
I don't know. I just feel like there's.
Let's go.
I'm always a fan of more football, but
let's go to break. We'll come back and I'll explain it to you again why I'm right.
7:30 a.m. 1 through 9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks, Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffline, over here. Co-host, Richie Jones, sit over here to my left. Of course, Pops on the opposite side of the camera. Guys, real quickly here. If you need a hat, we've got friends over there, affiliate partners over there at Branded Bills. I love my hat. I'm wearing it right now. It has a good fit, kind of like a golf fit. At the same time, it's kind of like a trucker hat. It's a good feel, good thing going on there with hats. And I'm a big hat guy. You know, I don't control the hat industry, but I'm a big hat guy, and I wear a lot of hats every day. Mostly I do. I'm always wearing a hat. So if you need a hat over there, go check them out. You can check them out with a link in the description. Branded Bills / Off the Bench CFB show. So we've been discussing mostly the college football playoff as of the last segment and the expansion that could be coming with it. Me and Richie have been going back and forth. He's in favor of the 2014 playoff. I'm in favor of the 16-team playoff. I think,
for the record, I'm in favor of the 32, not the 24.
I may be in the positive side of the fans of what they want, but in terms of TV, I'm on the opposite side of what they want because they want more money over there. My argument with this is we are going to get more Tulanes of the world, more James Madisons of the world.
No, you're not.
So Richie explained to me why we would not get more of those games of a watered down college football playoff.
So I'll go 16 versus, because you're okay with 16, right?
Yes, I'm okay with 16.
Do you want to stay at 12 or do you want to go to 16?
In my perfect world, we would stay at 12.
Okay.
But I'm okay with going to 16 because one or the two is going to happen.
Okay, so I'll go with your 12,
right,
which is your preference, versus my 32, which is my preference. With 12, we got how many games in the first round?
We had
you got
before
4 games.
4 games, 18.
4 games.
Yeah, 4 games, 18.
Yeah, 4 games. How many of those were worth watching?
I would say at least 2 or 3 of
them. 2 of them. Miami, Texas A&M was worth watching. Alabama, Oklahoma was worth watching. Tulane and James Madison was not worth watching.
Tulane and James Madison.
I know, but those 2 games.
Yeah, Tulane and Ole Miss. We knew it was going to happen with Tulane and Ole Miss. That already happened.
James Madison, Oregon.
It was a repeat already of a game. It already took place.
Yes.
So we got all excited for the first round. We got 4 games. 2 of them were complete blowouts. A third one was a blowout until Alabama decided to show up and get off the bus, right? So 2 of them were worth watching. If we go to 32, that first weekend there is 16 games. 11 of them are ranked versus ranked opponents. I am telling you, there is 0% chance that there is not more than 2 worth watching. If you go to 32, yes, 1 versus 32, probably not going to be a lot of fun to watch. Nobody's going to care about watching Indiana beat Tulane or James Madison, because Tulane's still going to get in because they're still going to give the Power 5 champion their spot, whatever. James Madison would have been out, by the way, because they weren't in the top 31, and you're only going to give 1 spot to the 5. The ACC champ would have been in with Virginia. With Duke. So you're going to have 1 versus 32. You're going to have 2 versus 31, so on and so forth. 15 versus 16. That means 11. And during a weekend, a Thursday through Saturday, we're going to have 11 games. We're going to have 16 games total. 11 of them are ranked versus ranked. Give me another week. Give me another month during the college football season that I get 11 guaranteed ranked versus ranked games.
Okay, but tell me where the cutoff is to a deservingness to have the opportunity to go and compete for a national title, okay? Because we go back to the BCS era, right? You can take 1 loss. You're done.
Okay.
There's no shot at you winning a national title unless you are the best 1-loss team in the country. I think it happened once, maybe twice. And I think one of the teams was Bama, right? So it is very, very difficult from my mind, from when I grew up watching, to go and sit there and say, that team with 4 losses over there, man, they showed some heart. All right. They was a close one over there in Baton Rouge, and they still lost, right? It's tough for me to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, that team, yeah, they're fine. You can do that. New normal, right? That's just not my
Okay, so
idea of a playoff. I think you truly need to deserve, and you have shown something on a high level that you deserve the opportunity to go and compete for that national championship, okay? We talk about top 25. That's always been the guideline is top 25, okay? The top 25 teams in the country do not all have the talent to go win a national championship. I would argue that the top 12 do not.
Okay, so how many losses did Alabama have going into the playoff this year?
They had 2.
Going into the playoff,
Going into the
to
playoff.
include the
Three.
SEC championship, they had 3.
3, yeah.
So you're over here all upset because a team with 4 losses and showed a lot of heart down in Baton Rouge is going to make it. That's only 1 loss more than Alabama had.
Well, Texas had 3. They didn't make it.
I don't think Texas should have had the opportunity to make it. Vanderbilt shouldn't have had the opportunity to make it.
Why
Notre
not?
Dame shouldn't have had the opportunity to make it.
Notre Dame might have been the 3rd best team in the country.
At the
Yes,
time.
strength of record, though.
Yeah.
The one characteristic that the college football playoff does not want to go on is the strength of record.
Okay, cool. To make the playoff, you've got to have a top 100 strength of schedule.
Mhm.
I'll give you that. We're going to take the top 32 teams, top 31 plus the Power 5, which is going to be the top 32. And you've got to have a top 80 strength of schedule.
I mean, I realize Indiana did not do any favors for me in my argument saying that they shouldn't win. Because they, in my
Undefeated.
mind, shouldn't have had the opportunity because of their strength of schedule
Undefeated.
to get into the playoff.
And then they proved how great they were.
That is why we're now pushing, because the TV world Big TV decided that since they won a national championship and because of how their strength of schedule looked, because of the teams they played, more people deserve the opportunity to do that.
Yes, but okay, I understand what you're saying during the regular season of, they had 4 losses and they showed a lot of heart down in Baton Rouge on that Saturday night that their quarterback got injured and didn't get to play or whatever. Okay, if we go to 32, you have to win 5 consecutive games against a highly ranked opponent back to back to back to back to back to win the national championship game. That is what SEC fans have been barking about for the last 15 years, is that these Big Ten teams don't play 5, 6 straight games against great opponents, when even Alabama, their weakest game is against Mississippi State in Starkville with the cowbells ringing. So the SEC deserves to have more spots because we play more stronger games and more. Nothing compares. Even on Alabama's toughest stretch during the season, they've never played 5 straight games against a ranked opponent.
Oh, I mean, Alabama went on that streak last year where they had play. It was
4 games, top
and they
25,
won.
and they won off.
And that's the reason that's the reason they got into the playoff.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And so I'm saying you expand, because if you're going to go to 24, you're giving teams a bye. I think the bye is so stupid. That is my biggest thing. I'd rather my order would be 32, 16, 8, because I don't think a team should get a bye.
We'll never go backward.
Oh yeah, we'll never
go backward to 8. Guys, if you want to hit us up on YouTube, you can do so at Off the Bench CFB Show. We got a poll going right now. What's the best number of teams for the college football playoff? You can answer 1 for 12, 2 for 16, and 3 for 32. In fact, Caleb has hit us up and said 4 would have been his ideal. He was anti-12 originally.
Caleb's the Auburn fan, right?
Yes, Caleb.
They're
Caleb
always
Mills over there, our buddy over
they're
there.
always going to want 4 because of that one season where they got completely gypped, and Oklahoma and USC played for the national championship. So Auburn's perfect number is always 4.
Speaking of Auburn, we got a little bit of intel from the spring game that happened last week. We're going to talk about that next here on the Off the Bench College Football Show. We're going to take a quick break. See you guys on the other side.
Put your 3s in chat.
7:30 a.m. 1039 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Alfine, co-host Richie Jones, sitting to the left of me. Of course, Pops on the opposite side of the camera from us. We do a little poll here on the YouTube side. If you want to get onto that, if you're over on the radio side, you can do so at Off the Bench CFB Show. What is the best number of teams for the college football playoff? You can chat. You can type 1 in the chat for 12, 2 in the chat for 16, and 3 in the chat for 32. Right now, it looks like 12 and 32 are leading the board here, both with 40%, 16 sitting at 20%. So it seems like the fans are voting right now, and they can't decide if they want a little more teams or a lot more teams.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
Either way, no matter what we think, back and forth, we can sit here and pontificate from beautiful Huntsville, Alabama, where we do not have a beaver sighting this morning.
No beaver sighting.
We are getting.
It was a gopher.
I'm sorry.
Gopher sighting.
Gopher sighting.
Gopher sighting this morning.
My fault to Minnesota. We are getting more teams. It's
going to happen. It's going to happen. I think this is going to be a TV deal that's going to run, and it's going to be more money. It just makes more sense to go to 24 than 16 because it's going to make more money for the programs. It's going to make more money for TV, and it's just going to go that way. A little bit on the Auburn side, no Elijah Haven, luck for them. They were cut a couple of days ago from the conversation. So they're Elijah Haven picking between Georgia and Alabama later today, still anxiously waiting for that decision to be made. But it's on the other side, on the other side, that we were going to talk a little bit about Auburn football. Remember, they had their A-Day game last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a good showing for their new starting quarterback, Byron Brown.
Oh, do tell.
It was a very poor showing, very similar to another quarterback stat for Auburn that may leave them with a little bit of joy. So that Alex Gullish did not start off positively. It wasn't a great performance by the Tigers in their spring game, but it's spring game. It's a practice game.
Yeah,
know how it is. Kind of get a little bit of intel on the players.
We're talking about practice?
Practice.
Well, I mean, all the hype with any of these spring games, right? Supposedly Ohio State's quarterbacks look terrible as well. All those things. I wouldn't worry about that. Auburn will be Auburn this year. We'll see what happens with it.
That may be the most accurate statement I have ever heard on the radio. Auburn will be Auburn this year.
They will still be confused whether they're Eagles or Tigers or whatever it might be, But the spring games, the A games, we look forward to them because it gives us a glimpse, right? But
a little bit of a break from monotonous off season, right?
Yeah, it's that little hit of adrenaline.
Byron Brown struggled. 7 of 14 passes for 85 yards, 2 interception, and a lost fumble with no scoring drives.
My concern with that is, okay, does that mean Byron Brown is terrible? Or Auburn's defense is amazing?
That's what Auburn always has a good defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. Always. I mean, they've always got great edge rushers. The linebackers are solid. The DBs are good. You can't ever complain about Auburn defense.
So the good news for them is in 2010, they had another quarterback struggle in their A-game. He had 61 yards, 0 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. Does anybody tell me who that was?
It's got to be Cam.
Yeah.
Cam Newton had a poor A-Day performance during his spring game. So there is some hope for the Tigers over there. Now, to be fair to Byron Brown, he is a very mobile quarterback. You can't touch the quarterback. He didn't take off during the spring game.
Yeah.
Gullish wasn't letting him happen at all. So to be fair, the similarities posed between him and Cam Newton continue in that department. Okay, because Cam was a mobile quarterback as well.
Let's start the hype, man. Auburn's got the new Cam Newton. Let's just start it. Let's just get it going.
Let's start. That's what it's going to get going as Caleb hits us up and says the Auburn Bulls with the amount of nicknames they got.
Hit us up in the chat. Will Auburn be Auburn next season?
Auburn's going to Auburn. That's how it's going
I was going to make a comment about, their defense is really good unless, Bryce has got the ball and 1 minute and 13 seconds left to try to score a touchdown for Auburn, for Bama to win in Jordan Hare.
That would have been Milrow.
Or Milrow, 4th and 32.
Gravedigger, baby.
Gravedigger.
But they can always come back. Go ahead and say it, Auburn fans. What about the kick six? I still think he stepped out of bounds.
So
Let's
speaking
just
of the
live in the past.
Speaking of the kick six, there was also some news that came out about that. I know it's late for the kick six. Right? So Auburn's been trolling Alabama fans with their new suites. They're introducing the kick six suites. The field suite. Steps from the action, private indoor suite, adjacent terrace, access to a shared club lounge built for energy, flexibility, and connection at field level. It is called the Kick Six Field Suites.
For a decade, all I heard Auburn fans talk about was, "Oh, y'all are just living off y'all are just like a vulture, can live off a dead bear for blah 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 blah." Like, how long ago was the Kick Six?
Gosh, I can't.
20.
Okay, yeah.
17, 18,
Kick six?
maybe. No. That'd be
Earlier.
Later than that.
Earlier.
No. Later than that.
Yeah.
Like 2021, maybe. I don't know.
It wouldn't have been
Kick
21.
six
It would have been 15 or 16, I thought.
Really? Okay. All right.
Maybe.
I've got
Somewhere
to
in
get
there.
this correction.
All right,
It was
we're
the Kick
rambling.
Six game.
I got to see that
Oh my
Auburn.
gosh, it was 2013.
Wow. I got to see that Auburn team playing a national championship game because I bought my flight and tickets to Pasadena
Thinking.
before we decided to kick a field goal with 1 second.
50-plus yard field
1
goal.
second left on the clock.
So all right. So we talked a little bit about the draft this morning. So who's the best players left in the draft, guys?
Surprisingly enough, because I was ripping Tennessee for how terrible their draft picks have been so far. The University of Tennessee, which we know how much I loathe them, McCoy is still on the board. He was pre-draft ranked to be the 16th overall player. And last time I checked, we've already had 3 rounds of 32. So 32 times 3 is a lot more than 16.
Well, to be fair to Jermon McCoy, is he did tear his ACL last year. He didn't play he didn't play past January. But he tore in January 2025. He didn't play for the entirety of the season. So in 2024, he was playing. He had a good year, right? 4 interception, 13 passes defended, but he hasn't played in a while. Okay. He's an ACL risk, liability risk. That's why McCoy's still on the clock. Is he one of the most talented players still available in the draft? Very much so. He was a Tennessee corner. He played some incredible defense, right? McCoy can be good in the NFL, but he's an injury risk right now, and that's why teams keep passing on him. There's a lot of players still available in this draft. Keontae Scott, Miami, Malik Muhammad from Texas, another corner over there. You can talk about all the Bama boys that are still available. Elsie Overton, Deontay Lawson.
There's a bunch of Bama guys still.
Nussmeier sitting up there at quarterback from LSU.
Is he the next best quarterback? Nussmeier?
Yes. Nussmeier would be the next best quarterback. Behind him, you're looking at Taylon Green from Arkansas, Cole Payton from North Dakota State, Luke Altmaier at Illinois, Baron Morton from Texas Tech, Sawyer Robinson from Baylor, Cade Klubnik from Clemson, Joey Aguilar, Tennessee, right? There's still value.
I heard he just transferred.
Aguilar
again?
Yeah, he just transferred.
Likely.
Yeah.
You got another year?
No, he just transferred. He didn't get another year or anything.
He just transferred.
Hit the portal.
Hit the portal. He didn't get another year. Haynes King still up there as well from Georgia Tech. And then Pavia sitting over there at the 11th best quarterback in the best available still. I don't know if Pavia gets drafted.
5'8", 9, 10, whatever he measured at this morning.
Yeah, 5'3".
Puts a gold chains on. I think it weighs him down a little bit.
I am shocked that I didn't know this until I was just looking at it. Nussmeier at LSU pre-draft was ranked the 3rd best quarterback in this draft.
That kind of blew my mind a little bit too. Just sitting there thinking about how he responds to pressure in the SEC. I mean, it was talked about a lot. You put a little pressure on Nussmeier, and the ball throws crazy. But obviously, he had a good combine. He can throw the ball downfield in the combine when he doesn't have pressure on him. I guess that's good.
I think he'd make a good backup quarterback for somebody.
Serviceable backup. Yeah, Nussmeier makes serviceable backup. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM. Jocks, Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. One more segment to go on this fine Saturday. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jock Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. I'm your host, Kelsey Alfine, co-host Richie Jones, into the left of me, and of course, Pops, opposite side of the camera from us. We've been discussing a little bit about Auburn football this morning. It's rare on the Off the Bench College Football Show. I accidentally hit the music there. But
You
Caleb,
didn't want them to hear you talk about
it's rare to talk about Auburn football. Music just goes everywhere there. Caleb hitting us up. Never forget. #Kick6. He's living in glory days.
That's
right
the
now.
glory days.
I mean, they won what 8 national championships last offseason?
That's true.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
did.
And
The glory days,
Yes.
man. They hung 8 new banners up
and they get to hang an NIT banner
this year.
in the basketball
To
arena.
be fair to Auburn, they have had very, very poor coaching hires.
And that's being fair.
They made that choice,
Hey,
man.
Hugh
They
Freeze
made
had
that
8
choice.
national championships.
Earlier, I think we made a comment about me being able to help the Titans at wide receiver. I honestly think I could do a better job coaching the Auburn Tigers. As an Alabama alumni, I would do a better job of coaching the Auburn
I
Tigers.
think, they went through the era of Brian Harsin. Hugh Freeze wasn't as bad. He just couldn't get it going, it seemed like. And he was golfing.
Man, he had
way
the
too
talent
much.
around him too,
That's the
man.
nicest
Golfing
thing.
way too much.
That's the nicest thing you could
That's
say.
what
Look
we'll
at
say,
that
right?
receiver core they had last year, man. Singleton,
Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman. I mean, that's 2 of the top receivers in the country.
They couldn't get it going. Right. I think the future now with Alex Gullish, you still have DJ Dirk in it, defensive coordinator. Caleb made a comment. Defense is incredible. Offense is dependent on USF receivers facing SEC competition every week. Okay. This is going to be a USF offense, right?
Yeah.
We've seen what Gullish does with his offense. He's one of the best offense coordinators in the country. Okay. Tennessee, he was over there. There's a reason Alabama was scheduling USF every year because they had to play Tennessee with similar offenses.
Mhm.
Okay, DJ Durkin, he's been an incredible coordinator. Okay, a lot of people think he could have stayed as head coach.
Is this that year where we play Auburn and Auburn snaps the ball every like 11 seconds? Remember that?
Likely, I could see him bringing that back.
I hate that pace. And I remember that one year, just Auburn just absolutely destroyed Bama. Bama could not get its defense. They didn't destroy us, but Bama couldn't get its defense set. I mean, there was no running in and out players when you're snapping the ball 11 seconds.
Right. I mean, I like that the opportunity this year is that we have to play Gullish in Tuscaloosa. We don't have to deal with scary
Jordan Hare
over there. Getting
That place,
creeps going over there.
is haunted.
Haunted,
It's
yeah.
creeps going over there. That's the problem with it.
It's
Adam Garcia hit us up. What time does he commit? Talking about Elijah Haven.
11:30.
I've
What I
gotten
read.
conflicting times. I've
Yeah.
gotten between 3:30 and 4:30, but I've also gotten 11:30 over there as well. So look out for it. Post the show here. It could be here just after the show, or it could be happening later today as we go through this fine Saturday here in North Alabama. We've discussed the draft this morning as well. Discussing, of course, Fernando Mendoza going number 1 in the draft, going along with Ty Simpson going 13th over there to the Rams. Discuss the future possibilities of them. Right. If you missed any of the show today, of course, you can rewatch it here live on YouTube. You can go back and catch the show from earlier in the day. Guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in today here on the Off the Bench College Football Show. Please leave a like, share, subscribe. Help us out any way you can here. We always have fun doing this. Every week, it's always almost a bright spot in our week.
almost.
Only almost.
If we had a gopher, it would have made this.
If we had the gopher sighting, it would have been. I haven't seen the gopher since then, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some dog in the neighborhood must have chased him off.
Some dog. In the
Mr. Echo's out there giving him the side eye.
It's been fun. The off season is finally starting to peak up with some the draft, with some players, some 5-stars naming where they're going. So the off season, it was a little chilly. The weather, not just with the weather, but the whole news cycle of everything. We got through basketball season. We're deep in the heart of heading towards the next football season.
Now we get baseball and NASCAR.
Such an exciting part of the year here.
Baseball and
Baseball and
NASCAR.
NASCAR.
They're both hard to watch on TV.
This is it tomorrow? There used to be, what was the guy on ESPN that was always crazy, and this was the weekend where you had an opportunity to do every major sport, and he tried to do it one year because you get NHL hockey game.
Talking about Mike Tirico.
No, it wasn't Tirico. It was
Didn't Will Ferrell do this too?
You get NHL playoffs are today. You got NBA playoffs are today.
About those two.
You got everything going. The draft. You got NASCAR Sunday. You got all of it.
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is the Off the Bench College Football Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, subscribe to the show here on YouTube at Off the Bench CFP Show. We will catch you guys next week here, right here on WUMP.